Thank you, Sunil. It's a pleasure to be here. I want to thank you all for coming in such good numbers. I know the cane harvesting season has begun. I can see a lot of farmers here. And I know this is going to be a very, very busy period for many of you, but I just want to thank you for your time this morning. Let me begin by saying that I bring greetings from the Honorable Prime Minister. The government is 5 months old, and if you hear and you would have noticed that we began the first month by making sure that we address some of the concerns of the people. So the first thing we did was to allocate about $50 million before the school opened to ensure that all our children were supported in a very considered manner for them to get back to school. Because we realized that after COVID and in 2022, people were still making a transition, people were getting back to jobs, people were getting back to restoring their income, after a massive loss of income and jobs during COVID and a period after that. And we realized that our parents, our students needed support. So we allocated $50 million and we provided $200 each for every student from preschool right up to high school. And we managed to help 214,000 students throughout the country. And we realized the timing was very good. The feedback we got, all that money was used to buy books, buy stationery, buy uniform, bags, shoes, and it was a very, very timely support to our people. And the reason why I want to start by that is because a lot of malicious, false, rumor, lies were spread before the election and being spread after the election, that the new government will take away people's welfare, new government will take away people's school fees that students are not paying. A lot of these things were told and still being spread. So I want to allay those fears. We have said this before. The government, the new coalition government, is committed to the welfare of our people. We want to make sure that our people are supported all the time. And so please do not believe all these lies that some people, very few people out there who are spreading against the government. So that's the first thing. Second thing I want to say is that we are holding this consultation in the West because we felt that a lot of people from the West could not get to this summit, a lot of representatives from organizations, because we had a very successful, hugely successful economic summit where more than 500 people turned up. Many could not come. We couldn't accommodate everyone. So this consultation in the West is to fill those gaps and to have some discussion with people like yourselves and different stakeholders. The government, right at the outset, the Honorable Prime Minister and the government he leads made it very clear that we will have a new style of government. A government that will consult, that will work with the people, that will listen to the people, and make policies based on those kind of consultations. Because we believe that you have a lot of ideas. You work hard. You know what's going on the ground. And it is the government's responsibility to listen and consult and make policies and decisions to reflect what our people want and what the country needs. The third thing I want to say is that we are going through a very difficult period. We had COVID, our economy was not doing well even before COVID, and when COVID hit us, we were affected very badly. The situation right now is we have a high level of debt that we have to pay, the country has to pay. There is no way of running away from it. That's the reality. On top of that, we have a serious issue with our health facilities, infrastructure, water. These things will have to improve. And so, to make sure that we are able to deal with these issues, we obviously have to look for money. So, the foundation for the new budget will be three things. First, we want to address the issue of how we can put in place policies that in the long term we would be able to reduce our debt level. Secondly, we want to make sure that we have good policies so that we can also raise some revenue for the government. Third, we also want to make sure that we spend enough money in the economy looking after our people, whether it's social welfare, whether it's bus fare, whether it's support for the elderly, whether it's support for our people who need special help. All these will have to be provided, and the government is committed to providing them. So the budget will be a fine balance between good revenue policies, good expenditure policies, and making sure that we spend the money to get value for what it is spent for. We are going to cut down on the wastages. The government has already decided that in the budget we will announce a massive reduction in the allowances that ministers and members of parliament get when they travel overseas, including the Prime Minister's allowance. That's an example of a government which is committed to reducing wasteful expenditure. So only when we are able to do those three things, we would be able to, in the long run, reduce the debt, grow the economy, and make sure that we look after our people in terms of providing the basic services. For the sugar industry, as Sunil mentioned, you all know, this is no secret. You all know that in the last 15 years, the sugar industry went like this. From 3.2 million tons in 2006 down to 1.7 million tons. The railway, sorry, the tram lines, the infrastructure in the sugar industry has continued to deteriorate. And there are obvious problems as a result of that. And I've been talking to the farmers. I know, I've talked about this for 8 years in Parliament when I was in opposition. We know the problems. We know what are the issues. We have made sure that farmers were shortchanged. The guaranteed price of $85 was not fully paid. $13 million was taken away from the farmers. We made sure that the last two bonuses, you add together, it's taken the price to more than $85. And we still have one payment left, which means that the farmers are expected to get more than the $85 guaranteed price this time. Because we want to make sure that our farmers are able to make some money. We are going through a budget process. There are issues that we are looking at. We've had a number of suggestions from the farmers in Lomoai, in Nandi, in Tunalia yesterday. We've had a number of good suggestions from our landowners. We have had suggestions about land leases, about the involvement of our landowners within the sugar industry. These are important considerations that the government would be looking at when we are going forward in formulating our budget and making sure that we deal with. Let me also say this before we open the floor. We are not going to solve all the problems in 4 months or 5 months or 6 months. Some, we are dealing with it straight away. Some will take time. Some will take even longer. Because when you are dealing with problems that have been left for the last 15 or 16 years, it is not easy to fix it in 2 or 3 months or 6 months or a year. That's the fact. But the good news is this, that there is a sense of freedom, there is a sense of confidence, there is a sense of belongingness to be part of government policy, government decisions, and that is helping everyone. The forecast for the economy is much stronger. Instead of 6%, we are now forecasted to grow at more than 8%. Our tourism industry is almost 100% recovered. The remittances are strong. So all the signs in the economy are very positive. We are making changes to the laws. We have changed the media law. We've given the media the freedom. There are more changes that are about to come. The last cabinet made the decision that all our people who are living overseas, who have taken passport of other countries, whether you are registered in Bolani Kawambula or whether you are a descendant of the Girmitia or your parents were born in Fiji, if you are there, if you want to come back to Fiji, you don't need a visa, you don't need a permit. We are also reviewing the immigration laws to make sure that we facilitate investment. People who want to come to Fiji and invest and leave, we want to facilitate that as well. There are other changes that will come to ensure that we make things easier, not just for our people, but also for our investors. As I said, there are a lot of concerns that have been raised with us in the last 5 months that we've been in government. But again, I want to emphasize that it will take time because we don't want to rush things. We want to consult with people, make sure that we make laws that are considered, that are thought through carefully. The consequences of those laws are taken into account. Only then you can bring good laws. What we saw in the past was laws made without consultation, without thinking. And then once it comes in, it has all kinds of consequences that was not intended or that was not seen when the law was being drafted. So we want to change all that. But let me just assure you in conclusion all these rumors about government taking away your social welfare. I met this old man, who said to me, he said, Bhaiya Biman, हम लोग के social welfare चला जाए. He was genuinely worried because there were people spreading this rumor that the social welfare allowance that he was getting, he was a 70-year-old man, he was getting social welfare, and he was genuinely worried that the new government will take away his social welfare. He was anxious. So, this is the kind of lies and rumors that some people would like to spread. I just want to make sure or assure you that that's false, those are lies, and people who are spreading that are trying to create alarm and anxiety amongst our people. That's totally false and malicious propaganda by those who lied before and are continuing to lie now. But I know that a lot of people understand it, but I just wanted to make this clarification everywhere I go. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions and suggestions and comments.
जितना भी सवाल यहाँ पर रहेगा ये सब एक रिक्वेस्ट है. पहला चीज़ है लोरी के कंसेशन जो गन्ना ढोने वाली लोरी है, ये पहले मिलती थी पर अब कट गया और हमें ये भी मालूम है कि इस साल भी लोरी कंसेशन शायद नहीं मिलेगा. लोरी कंसेशन जो था गन्ना ढोने लोरी के कंसेशन जो रहा वो नहीं मिलेगा.
किसने बताया आपको?
ये मैं सोचता हूँ अभी तक मिला नहीं तो नहीं मिलेगा. सही बात है. आज तक लोरी कंसेशन मिला नहीं है. इस वर्ष नहीं मिला अभी तक. ठीक, अगर कंसेशन नहीं मिलता तो भी ठीक है, कोई बवाल नहीं है. और सवाल ये पैदा होता है कि जब लोरी हम लोग फिटनेस करा कर लेकर आते हैं, विल्टेक्स सीधा 6 महीने के लिए लिया जाता है. मेरा रिक्वेस्ट यह है कि अगर हम 1 महीना अपन लोरी खली चलाएं तो 1 महीना का ही रोड लेवी या विल्टेक्स जो कुछ भी आप कहे उसको उतने दिन की ही लिया जाए. जबकि लोग पूरा सब जितना किसान है सब किसान जॉब नहीं करते हैं. जैसे व्यक्तिगत तौर पे मैं बतलाता हूँ अपने आप को, मैं 1 महीना में अपना गन्ना काट कर खास कर देता हूँ. 5 महीना के विल्टेक्स में क्यों भरूं? इस कानून को बदलना होगा.
5 महीना आपका लोरी खड़ा रहता है?
लोरी तो साल भर खड़ा रहेगा, खाली 1 महीना खाली गन्ना ढोएगा. अभी अगर लोरी हम पास कराते हैं 6 महीना के तो पूरा 6 महीना का पूरा विल्टेक्स भरना पड़ता है. जबकि हम लोग को चाहिए कि जब 1 महीना में अपना लोरी को चलाता हूँ, गन्ना ढोता हूँ, फिर उसके बाद हम खड़ा कर देते हैं, तो जो 5 महीना का जो विल्टेक्स है तो मुफ्ती हमारे जेब में से पैसा चला जाती है. तो उस पर आप थोड़ा ध्यान देना. दूसरा है, आपने कहा सोशल वेलफेयर या ओल्ड एज फंड जो दिया जाता है, इसका भी 2 कानून है. यहाँ पर इसका भी 2 कानून है. जो वेलफेयर से जो पैसा मिलता है 65 ईयर्स एंड अबव के, उसमें 2 कानून है. जिसको पेंशन मिलता है वो अप्लाई नहीं कर सकते हैं, और जिसके पेंशन नहीं है वो हमारी समझ में वो हकदार है. तो यहाँ पर एक कानून लाना चाहिए. अगर सब जो बूढ़ा व्यक्ति लोग हैं, अगर उनको अगर पैसा देना है, पेंशन देना है $100, तो भाई सबको दो. क्यों मैं कहता हूं, जब रेडियो पे जब ब्रॉडकास्ट होता, जो वेलफेयर के अधिकारी आकर रेडियो पे बकते तो बताते नहीं 65 ईयर्स से ऊपर उनके सबको मिलते हैं. तो उसमें जाकर वेलफेयर वालों से भी बहस किया जाता है कि भाई रेडियो में तो ऐसे बोला जाता है. तो वो भी कानून को स्थिरता पे लाना चाहिए. और जो प्रोविडेंट फंड जो था, फिजी नेशनल प्रोविडेंट फंड, कानून तो एक होता है कि एक एग्रीमेंट अगर कहीं पर बन गया है तो एग्रीमेंट को बदला नहीं जाए. पर ये दुख की बात है कि पुराना सरकार ने उस कानून को बदल दिया और उसमें से पैसा काटा गया। तो मेरा दरख्वास्त ये है कि वो जो पुराना एग्रीमेंट हम लोग करा उस पर हम लोग को पेंशन मिले। ये 3 विषय खत्म होगी। चौथा विषय हमारा ये है कि जो फिजी राइस लास्ट ईयर जो चावल उन्होंने बांटा और जो वियतनाम से जो चावल आता था और दोनों को अगर रखा जाए, आज भी हमारे घर पर वियतनाम का भी एक बस्ता चावल रखा हुआ है और फिजी राइस का भी जो चावल है दैट इज अफेक्टेड विद इन 3 months। तो उस पर ध्यान दिया जाए और वो चावल मेरा कहना है कि कोई भी किसान को ना दिया जाए। वो या तो बिगा गया है और हम लोग उसमें लॉस्ट में जो किसान है वो लॉस्ट में गए। धन्यवाद। मैं बड़ा संक्षिप्त में बोला हूँ, इसलिए अगर बोलना है तो मैं वो ज़्यादा तरह से भी बोल सकता हूँ, बट ठीक है, समय बहुत कम है। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद। आपने बहुत ही अच्छी ढंग से चारों विषय पर कहा। 4 issues that was raised. I'll just pick on 2, the concession one and Fiji rice and LTA will tax. We can discuss that. We are looking at that as well. But on the Provident Fund, I think he's talking about the fact that the military government had unilaterally changed the pension agreement that was there before. So what they did, they brought a decree, they reduced the pension rate. People who had planned their life were suddenly, disrupted. I have asked, I can tell this, I have asked FNPF to go back and look at what happened and see how we can address that, whether there is a possibility to compensate those pensioners in a way to bring closure to the draconian decision that the military government made to take away people's pension. So that's being looked at. The concession, the conversion rate from lorry to rail, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that is something that Sunil will explain what's happening to that. I know there are a lot of issues within the sugar industry, and some of these specific ones, I think we will need time over the next 6 months. Some we would be able to address immediately in the budget, and some we will be reviewing as part of the overall strategy to look at how we can deal with some of these specific issues that affect the sugarcane farmers and production generally. You want to add something?
Thank you, sir. In regards to this lorry concession, we used to have a MOU with LTA prior to 2019, and there were certain leeways given in there, like sort of preference given to cane lorry operators when compared to other lorry operators, other contractors. So that came to an end in 2019. Reason being that there were certain breaches of the law according to LTA, and they were saying that we cannot continue with this. But definitely with new government coming in, we will, as Sugarcane Growers Council, we will again try to pursue and we'll see what best can be achieved in that. But currently, that is not available to any lorry operator, any cane lorry operator. To your concern of Fiji rice, that has been addressed as well. The growers in Vitilevu will now receive the imported rice. So if you have to place your order, please do so at the sector office, and you'll be rest assured you'll be supplied with the imported rice.
Just one more thing that I wanted to add. the previous government took away the elected growers council. For sugarcane farmers, government has decided that we will bring back the elected growers council, because that's important, so that you have your representatives from every sector that will run the affairs of the growers council, and so that the farmers' voice is well represented within the industry. So that will be done.
I'd like to thank the Deputy Prime Minister and all stakeholders for allowing us to have this consultation today. I would just like to highlight one thing in regards to cane planting grant. I have got a farm in Boomba. I'm planting cane. I have planted about 1.5 acres now. And I've been informed that I won't be getting a grant for it because I have planted Mana variety. Now, previously I had Nandiri variety on it, and with replanting I left it fallow for a year, and now I have planted Mana because Nandiri is not viable for my farm. And I've also seen that within the 4th or 5th harvesting, the growth has gone down, and thus reducing my production. It's not the field office I'm blaming, sir, but the people that are above the field office that have informed that I won't get the grant for it. Now I've got another 3.5 acres which I wanted to plant Nandiri, but I'm planting it, but I'll plant it myself without the grant. But the problem I'm facing is that if by doing this you are discouraging other farmers from planting sugarcane. And since FSC just has to focus on the basics of getting 2 million tons of cane, instead of focusing on restriction for farmers in planting cane. I mean, if we want to have more cane sent to the mill, I think there should not be any restrictions for that, sir. Thank you.
I can answer that. I think that is true. You're absolutely right. And partly it was because of the lack of funding, but I can assure you that we will be looking at it in the next budget. I think it's only fair that you don't discriminate on the basis of a variety. If all the varieties are good, we want more cane production, and that should be the incentive. So we will address that in the budget. Yeah. Thank you.
Prasad sector, namely Mahendra Kumar, farm number 8260. On my farm, I have seen in the last previous years that there is a major problem. It's a very acute problem, sir, regarding the labors. And once we are getting the harvesting season, it will be a big asset, big help from the Ministry of Sugar or anybody on that side if they can arrange some labors on our farm. Because the terrain is a bit rough there, we don't have the accessibility of the machines going there. So 100% we rely on the, what you call the labor, manual labors. Nah? And despite there is a shortage of the, what you call the trucks, the cane trucks, we take out our money from our pocket and get the lorries cutting the train sugar from our farm to Lautoka mill or even to Bar mill. So it's a very humble and a very sincere request to the current government and to the ministry as a whole, if we can arrange some laborers, at least couple of them, 7, 8 people, we can provide the houses, the power is there, water supply is there, as long as we can have the cane harvested and transported to the mill before the rainy season comes in. Say thank you.
It's a difficult issue, but in fact, one of the big challenges that we are having right now for the whole country is a loss of skills. Some of the policies that we are putting in place, we are trying to encourage more training, more technical and vocational education. This is for other types of skills. But also, I understand there is shortage of labor in the sugar belt, in the agriculture sector. So I appreciate what you've raised, and I'm sure the Sugarcane Growers Council and FSC would be looking at ways and means to address that issue.
So I, Ronil Rohanlal from Drasa. I'm a truck driver. I cut the cane from farmers to mill. I have one request about the road condition. Firstly, near the factory, near the LTA which we come through that way, the tram line, the road is very bad. Even the car can't go. Forget about the truck. And second thing is the road hump which has been made, I think so you have visited that side. Reki Reki and Tabua side. The hump which is just like a sharp hump. The sharp one. That one is very hard. If you drive a car, it bumps like this. And we got a truck, it's being loaded. So that chassis can get breakdown. So what can be done in that one? And about the mill, the washroom facilities. And we also need the bathroom. But no bathroom there. Even the condition of the toilet, we're gonna go and see. If you are in a rush, the thing gonna go up again, backwards. That's the fact. I think that's you should be knowing it. If no, just go and visit today and see the condition, how we are struggling. We are drivers. We are struggling. We come right in the morning, next day we go home. It's not from today, it's for being past years. We have been telling, but nothing has been happening. And today, yesterday I saw it, they grade the thing, all the big stones there. If the thing goes in the tire, thing gonna get burst. Government won't pay for the tire. It costs $550, one tire. In a truck, minimum 6 tires, just calculate. And the rim, it costs $250, $300. It's going from our pocket. Because 6 months we are doing that one, 6 months we are not doing anything. So where is the thing gonna come from? That one is my request, is the immediate, as soon as possible. And one more thing, we are coming through that way. Unless till the road is being fixed that side, we want to access through the RB roundabout like this one. I request the government to give in a return so we can go through this way. If you go through this way, the LTA and the city council, they book us. Thank you.
We will be visiting the sugar mill today, and I'm sure the staff of the ministry are listening, and FSC is here as well. So they should at least provide some basic facilities where it is necessary. So I expect them to do that. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Arvind Prakash from Lautoka sector, Arcane farmer. It's about this shortage of farm laborers. Just like one of my friends mentioned, I think it's a suggestion. Why doesn't the government, FSC, or even the Crane Growth Council go into arranging some sort of say like something that a prison is doing? The prisoners, they harvest, they come regularly, there is no problem with timing and everything. And there are some I know some people in, it's quite common in Nandi and the other areas, where one single person arrange about 3 gangs of 10 people, harvest about 10,000 tons, pays them off, and takes $4 per ton for just mediating, and he makes $40,000 a year. This is something where government can come in, or FSC, in arranging people like through labor, and say they will be having their FNPF and everything, where right now, whether these laborers are coming, they don't get their other benefits. And another suggestion is that during these harvesting seasons, because of labor transfers, there are a lot of robberies in areas. So we'd like some extended food patrols in every area. It's not only in Lautoka, it's a nationwide problem. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, on the crime rate, that's an issue that we've had. But if you look at the overall figures that the Commissioner of Police put out I think last week, the overall crime rate has actually gone down. There are specific areas, towns and cities where, concerns have been raised. In some places there seems to be an increase, and obviously the police are looking into it, and in the budget, we are also discussing, as you said quite rightly, in some areas you probably need more police patrol. They call it police beat. Police presence in towns and cities and different areas. So yes, I mean we take note of what you said, with respect to labor, and also police patrol in areas where there might be high incidence of crime.
Terima kasih.
Yeah.
My name is Jesse Lingevu. I'm working for Ministry of Agriculture. I'm currently renting at the moment. My first question is, will you lift the rent freeze order?
What do you think? What's your view?
It's going to affect a lot of families.
Sorry?
It's going to affect a lot of families if the rent freeze order is lifted.
You want the rent freeze to continue?
Yes.
Okay, that's your view. I take your point. You see, rent freeze was put in place in 2007. And so it's almost like 16 years now. The people who, so there could be different effects of that rent freeze, but the FCCC is reviewing it. They are consulting people, and they would obviously take views of people like yourselves, whether rent freeze should be lifted. Some people are arguing, for example, that those who build flats, they're saying, why should I build a new flat if I can't, increase rent after, 5 years? What is also happening is people who build new flats know that they can't increase rent in the next 2 years. They start with a very high rent. So all those new flats that come into the market, they start at a very, very high rent. So it's actually not helping the tenants. The tenants are actually ending up, paying a much higher rent because of the, how the people interpret rent freeze. So there are some perverse incentives being generated as a result of that freeze. But I take your point, and FCCC is reviewing it, and they will come up with a report to see whether it should be lifted, whether it should be controlled in a different way. But that's something that's being discussed. Thank you.
So, second issue here is the government quarters here in Lautoka. Government quarters are now currently under Ministry of Economy. And at the moment...
It's finance now.
Sorry, finance. At the moment, a couple of SPN doctors are still occupying government quarters, despite receiving 2 eviction notice. They're refusing to vacate government quarters. They're no longer on government payroll, but still they're occupying government quarters here in Lautoka. Can
Do you have any other
Minister
questions?
of Finance address this issue?
Okay.
We've taken note of that.
Yeah, we have our staff there. They have taken note, and we'll talk to the office accommodation team. Thank you.
My last point is, people are talking about trucks, loading the canes and cutting it. The third party will take on all those things. I just want to know, what about the farmers who have got tractors? The farmers, I've got a tractor, I use on my farm, I pay wheel tax, I pay third party, everything I pay. And I personally feel the wheel tax and the third party of the tractor should go down, because farmers are using it. See, when we have to see both sides, trucks and the tractors, the owners. We have got fitness. I've got a tractor with fitness, everything. But when I go there, before it was, I think, road control board, something like that. Road control board, something like that. So, road control board. Right. So that simply means only on the road vehicles. But LTA is land. Land Transport Authority. Land is there. So it's my humble request, Kere Kere Bimbi, as Deputy Prime Minister, I hope you will note down this, because today most of us are farmers here, and might be this would be the last for some of the farmers, because if you look today, the farmers, most of the farmers, if you look age rate, I think most of them are 70 plus or 60 plus. No 18 year, no 20 years farmers. So for so once again, I would like to thank everyone for participating in this consultation, and not forgetting, you say, I hope whatever grievances we have put, it will go through. Because everything depends on you, say, we respect you. It's my humble request. Pinakapakalebu, thank you, Dhanabad.
As you have mentioned, that can't be happen in 1 month or 3 months' time. What the LTA is doing, if we are not retaining our number plates, once it expires, they're charging extra levies on each day we keep the number plates with us. So it is possible for LTA and their management to do the same. If they can charge it, once we are not retaining the number plate after the expiry, they are charging it. So they can do it even for a day, because that's how they are charging us. So that's all I want to say. This is the clarification. Thank you.
I've been hearing some of the concerns of the farmers, and just would like to share some points that they have raised in regards to the first, the LTA, in regards to the truck one. As far as I understand, if you don't want to use the truck for so many number of months, you can surrender your number plate and your third party. So the balance of the months will be still valid, but you can confirm that with the LTA. That's what I understand, and I have surrendered my number plate a few times, and it's valid for so many months. The second one was regarding the, I remember there was some years back, 1% levy was charged for sugarcane Crown's Council from the farmers. We were paying 1% from the gross income. I think that was something like that, many years back. So I'm thinking if that 1% continues, but deducted from the source and paid to the FNPF on behalf of the farmers, so that when the farmers, when they reach a certain age of retirement, they have some lump sum they can withdraw from the FNPF, because they can accumulate interest. They can accumulate interest over the years, and plus when they will reach 55 or 60, whatever the retirement age is, they can get their lump sum. But at the moment, there is a MOU between FNPF and FSC that some farmers, they can have their deduction deducted on voluntary basis. That is, I think, $7 per month. But if that can be, that is voluntary, the farmers can increase it. So I think so there is very less awareness on that to the farmers in regards to the FNPF, the MOU that FNPF has with the FSC. And the request is there, if a little bit more funding is given to the FSC field advisors or the Sardars or the Gross Council officers, so that they can reach out most to the farmers and advocate on all these benefits that are available, that in long term, like as you have mentioned, the government is here for the long term, so it will benefit long term to the farmers. And similarly, there is another incentive by the FRCS, the voluntary vet registration refund. So if some farmers are registered with vet, they don't have to pay the tax. But if they are registered with vet, and if, for example, if the machine operator and the truck, they are harvesting the cane, so they provide the invoice and they get that 9% back. So those are the small things that are also beneficial for the farmers, but there is very lack of awareness to our farmers. And number three, I would like to request if there is, because whenever there is a cane price being forecasted, and over the months, the weedicide price goes up suddenly. When there is a budget, we hear, for example, the Darun is $18. When we come after 3 months of harvesting, when we want to put Darun, it's about $32. And I don't know how that price goes up suddenly, and it just put on the FSC notice board that the prices went up. But it is being thankful to everyone from FSC and previous and today's government that the fertilizer price has not gone up. It remains the same. And I request that that fertilizer price remains the same, because it will give really bad effect to the farmers, because once the price will go up, then the farmers will reduce the amount of fertilizer application on the ratoons and on the plants. And also requesting if the cane price can be increased, say, to about $100. Thank you very much.
I appreciate your time. As I said earlier, I'm very pleased to hear your views. Master Ji, sometimes, it's important to repeat things. It's a good reminder to people like ourselves. We sometimes, we don't listen carefully to what people say. And one of the things that we want to do as a government is to listen as much as we can. I don't promise that everything that you've raised, every issue that has come forward will be resolved in the budget, but there's been some very good suggestions, very good ideas that has come from people from different meetings that I've had. And as a government, we've always believed that there is so much knowledge and wisdom that resides in the people. You work hard, you know what's going on, and we appreciate that. And I want to thank all of you for turning up today and giving your ideas and your views so freely. Just repeating what I said earlier, because a lot of people have asked me in a lot of meetings, and people have been calling me about government taking away things from the people, such as social welfare benefits for the older people, bus fare subsidy, school fees. None of that rumor, none of those malicious lies are true. As I said, the government is committed. We have a lot of challenges on our hand. As I said, there are three pillars on which we are formulating our budget. The first one is to make sure that we consolidate our expenditure, that we look at where we spend, how we spend, where is the priority, what is needed for the people most and for the economy. Second, we need to raise enough revenue, because if the government doesn't raise enough revenue, we can't spend enough. So that is the second thing that we would be looking at. The third thing is where we need to spend our money. How much we should spend on social welfare, how much we should spend on health, how much we should spend on making sure that our health centers, our hospitals have adequate facilities, medicine, doctors and nurses. So those are the three important things that we will take into account. How we can help our farmers, what do we need to do for the sugar industry, where the support should go. So these are questions that we will be asking in our budget. There is never enough money to do everything. So it becomes very critical for the government to consult the people so that we can come up with the best combination and best choice, to start with. As I said, not everything will be resolved tomorrow. It will take some time, but I can confidently say that good things are going to come. Thank you very much. Vinaka Vakalebu, Dhanyawad, Shukriya.